Before we start, I want to discuss why I made this video. Last fall, Stockton University canceled the Egg Harbor City rail shuttle, and in the process, they jeopardized mine and several other students' educations. I recently graduated Stockton University, but this is a project that has been in the making for several months. So the obvious question is why now? First, part of me wanted to have my degree in hand before I published a video that could jeopardize it. But had I graduated a semester sooner or later, this video probably would have come out last fall. Most importantly though, I wanted to strike the right tone. I've rewritten this script more times than I can count, largely because I don't want to be that person who just goes on long-winded rants over personal grievances. It's not fun for me, and frankly, it's not good content either. Last, this is still an issue that impacts people. We must first ask the question, what is Stockton University? Stockton University is a public university in Galloway, New Jersey, on the edge of the Pine Barrens and in the suburbs of Atlantic City. It has a lake. It has a building designed by Michael Graves, the guy who wanted to do the line to North Jersey. It has a satellite campus in Atlantic City on the beach. And it was largely founded as a way to preserve and teach the natural history of New Jersey in the Pine Barrens. Whether or not it succeeded is debatable. But now we must ask, what was the Egg Harbor Rail Shuttle? The Egg Harbor Rail Shuttle was a shuttle bus that carried passengers between Egg Harbor City's train station, Stockton University, William J. Hughes FAA Technical Center, and the Atlantic City International Airport. It was contracted out to the South Jersey Transportation Authority by Stockton University and the FAA Technical Center. It was free to ride and made 8 trips a day. Over the summer of 2024, Stockton University's Board of Trustees, none of whose members actually take transit, voted to pull out of the agreement, with service terminating on October 1st, 2024, giving students returning for the fall semester just under 1 month to find alternatives. Before I get into those alternatives, I think it's important to explain why Stockton decided to kill the shuttle. And that's because Stockton University has too much money. I hate to be the one to say it, especially considering all the bogus claims of inefficiency going around, but in this case, it is true. This is a university that knowingly bought a casino that they couldn't use. Over the last decade or so, Stockton University has bought several properties across South Jersey that they have no real plans on using. The Atlantic City campus has classes that are half full. Manahawkin is largely just for nursing, and Hamilton's campus is only open a few days a week. Woodbine doesn't get used at all. And at the same time the university killed the shuttle used to actually get people onto campus, the university began a costly renovation of its library. Since then, they have raised tuition and quietly signed all students up for a meal plan, even students who commute and ones who are only remote. I think it's safe to say that the university that duplicates the only transit route serving its campus might not be good at planning or decision making. So what are those alternatives I mentioned? Let's start with the 3 that were posted on the notice that informed students that the shuttle had been canceled: NJ Transit, Uber, and Lyft. Then we will discuss the capitulation, the university's token support for its students, as well as other alternatives that have been floated by myself and the university. So let's start with Uber and Lyft. The 2 big problems here are price and availability. The minimum cost for an Uber or Lyft between Egg Harbor City and Stockton University, which I will note is one town over, is $20 one way, and that's before you add a tip. Also, you are traveling in the Pine Barrens and suburbs of South Jersey, so there isn't always going to be a ride available. Even if there was, we now have a problem of capacity. The Egg Harbor Shuttle could seat 18, plus a wheelchair, and was regularly busy on morning trips. Most personal vehicles can fit between 5 and 7 people, including the driver, which would require between 3 and 6 rideshare vehicles to make up that capacity alone. Next, we have New Jersey Transit. The 508 is the only New Jersey Transit bus that serves Stockton University, and it primarily serves the area to the east of the campus. By contrast, most people who took the Egg Harbor Shuttle were traveling from the west. The Egg Harbor Shuttle was free, so definitionally the $5 plus fare is an infinite increase in cost. The bigger problem, however, is transfers, both the amount of time spent transferring and where they take place, namely the White Horse Pike. If your transfer doesn't show up, then that's another hour alongside a road with no shoulders and memorials to people who were killed in car crashes there. In case you're wondering, this is footage of one of those intersections at night. As someone who had night classes, I made sure to send this footage to the Dean of Students and the President of the University, both of whom felt that waiting an hour here was perfectly acceptable. Next we have the van. The van was originally posed as an option for faculty and not students, but after it became abundantly clear that many students had no alternatives, Stockton agreed to allow certain students to take the van. The van only duplicates the 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. shuttle trips. If your class starts at 8:30 a.m. or is after 4 p.m., then this van is completely useless to you. The schedule of the original Egg Harbor Shuttle left a lot to be desired. This is such a step down from that it's honestly insulting. This solution only works if you have a very specific schedule, and if a class you need for your degree falls outside those hours, then you will either have to change your degree or find another way to get to school. The next solution is to buy a car. This individualizes the problem, worsens traffic at the school, increases the risk of accidents, and puts the financial burden entirely on the student. The last solution proposed by the Dean of Students was to move on campus. And this is where the institution as predator really comes through. The solution that I got from the Dean of Students was that students who cannot drive or have no alternatives to get to class should find work on campus in order to afford to live on campus. It doesn't matter that housing on campus is ridiculously expensive for South Jersey, or that you are essentially paying the university with both your money and your labor as a form of indentured servitude. It also doesn't matter that you now have limited ways of getting off campus to see family, go to the doctor, buy groceries, go to the pharmacy, visit friends, or do anything that people do. All that matters is that Stockton University gets your money. And the real last solution is one that I almost went through with, and that was drop out. Put your education on hold. Transfer. If you have no way of getting to school, then what are you doing there? Being a transit rider in South Jersey is not easy. Our best transit route, Patco, has very limited coverage, and pretty much everything else ranges from mostly good to it's fine when it works, and at worst, it exists. Unless you live along the Patco right-of-way, you generally have to make a few transfers to get where you're going. What are the solutions? And more importantly, are any of them going to happen? Well, solution 1. Restore the Egg Harbor Shuttle as it was. This isn't going to happen. Every conversation I had with the Dean of Students and representatives for Stockton University's president, Joe Bertolino, and the Board of Trustees have made it abundantly clear that they have no intention of restoring shuttle service. Solution 2. Extend the 508 to Egg Harbor City, or improve its schedule so at least you're not waiting an hour for your train. Since Stockton doesn't want to provide shuttle service off campus, what if NJ Transit did it? It's a better solution, as the 508 runs hourly all day, but it's also probably not going to happen anytime soon. Solution 3. The Pomona train station. So this is a solution that has been proposed multiple times by the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. In their 2021 report on the Atlantic City line, they highlighted the travel demand between Egg Harbor City and Stockton University. a study that, by canceling the shuttle, Stockton completely disregarded. In that study, the DVRPC proposed a train station at Route 30 in Pomona to serve the university and the airport. This has also been considered as a way of providing rail transit to the Atlantic City airport, and has the backing of many of the casinos in the region. So on that level, it is likely to happen, but, well, if the Glassboro-Camden line's anything to go off of, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So what should you do as a prospective student? I hate to say it for the sake of my former professors, but you probably shouldn't go to Stockton. As I see it, if you live to the west of Stockton, which most Americans do, you functionally have no way of getting there. Even if you have a car and enjoy driving, you are putting a lot of miles on that car. So much wear and tear, so much gas and oil, spending so much money on insurance, risking accidents. If your car breaks down, or God forbid you get into a car crash on your way to class, then how are you going to finish your term? In the past, if something happened, you had an alternative, but now you're on your own. I guess these questions also don't really matter anymore. University enrollment is declining. At the same time, the Trump administration has basically killed international enrollment in American schools. I wish there was a happy ending here, but Stockton made its choice.